Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We're going to start now. I'm sorry. And I am not going to use the microphone. Nope. I'm going to just yell really loud.
Okay.
On behalf of the South Country PTA Council, I'd like to thank you for coming out. You're going to yell. You can't hear. Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the South Country PTA Council, I'd like to thank you for coming out to meet the candidates. I hope you enjoyed the refreshments outside and had an opportunity to meet the candidates. My name is Jennifer Wilson. I'm on the council. Tonight, we have the opportunity to hear from all 4 of the candidates who are running for our 2 open seats on the board. Please welcome. I'm probably going to butcher this, I'm sorry. Keniana Oreston, Linda L. Brown, Michael Kellerman, and John Huglia. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. Tonight's event is moderated by the Suffolk Region PTA, and I'd like to introduce our moderators. We have Wendy Natalone, Gerard Bringman, and Chrissy Cedrone. And I'm going to turn the evening over to them. They're the ones that are going to do all the questioning and everything else, and the timekeeping.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the South Country Meet the Candidates Night. I'm Gerard Bringman from Suffolk Region PTA. I'm tonight's moderator. Chrissy Cedrone will be our timekeeper, and Wendy Natalone will be assisting us with the questions. Before we begin, we'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I would like to go over the process that will take place tonight. All questions were submitted by community members ahead of time in Suffolk Region PTA. As moderator, the specific questions and order in which they will be asked is at my discretion. I reviewed all in the advance and modifying or editing some similar questions to avoid redundancy. No additional questions will be allowed at this time. We do have some questions of our own if we need them to fill out the card. So therefore, I'd like to introduce the candidates, starting with Keniana Augustine. Ms. Linda Brown. Mr. Michael Kellerman. And Mr. John Huglia. Alrighty, here are the guidelines, and they must be followed this evening. No letters or statements by absent candidates will be read. Only the candidates present may speak. Fortunately, we do have all 4 candidates running here this evening. We ask that the audience to hold its applause until the end in order for the moderator to ask as many questions as possible. There will be a moderator and timekeeper from Suffolk PTA. Each candidate will be allowed 3 minutes to make a presentation stating qualifications and reason for running. When the 3 minutes are up, the timekeeper will ring a bell to signify that the sentence must be completed. All questions will be written on index cards, reviewed and selected by the moderator. Questions will be asked of all candidates. Any questions addressed to only one candidate or those which contain personal attacks will be discarded. The moderator will make the final decision regarding all questions. You may not necessarily hear the question in the way it was written because we're going to consolidate questions that are similar. Each candidate will be given the opportunity to answer each question in 1 minute. When the minute is up, the timekeeper will ring a bell indicating the candidate must finish the sentence. No rebuttals are allowed during the question and answer period. Each candidate will be allowed 2 minutes to make a closing statement after the last question has been answered. At this time, candidates can make rebuttals. The length of the program will be determined by the moderator prior to the beginning of the evening. We're going to go for about an hour and a half, figure about 15 minutes, and do the introductions. We'll have about an hour of questions. With 4 candidates, we should be able to get in maybe a dozen questions. Then around 8:15 or so, we'll wrap it up and give the candidates their opportunity to have their closing statements. Presentations will be made in alphabetical order. Then the first question will start in alphabetical order, then the second question will go to the second person in the alphabet, and so on and so forth. We'll just keep rotating it. Then the closing statements will be in reverse alphabetical order. No literature may be given out at this meeting by the candidate or the candidate supporters, and the moderator reserves the right to end the program at any time if they deem it necessary. But I've never had to do that, and I don't think we will tonight. So we should be good. So with that, we'll start off with question number one. Oh, not question number one, excuse me. We'll go with the opening statements and going alphabetically. Kenyatta Augustine gets to go first.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Kenyatta Augustine, and I'm running for the Board of Education. I am a South Country parent with 5 sons at Brookhaven Elementary, Frank P. Long, Bellport Middle School, and Bellport High School. I serve on the PTA board at Frank P. Long for 2 years and Bellport Middle School for 1 year. I am finishing my second bachelor's degree in business administration, and I work in real estate. That gives me experience with budgets, facilities, property value, and accountability. Beyond PTA, I have spent 12 years at football, basketball, lacrosse, track, and cross-country meets. I have raised and continue to raise money for classrooms. I have talked with seniors on fixed incomes, parents who work 2 jobs, and support staff who lives here. Uniquely, I bridge groups that do not always hear each other: students, parents, teachers, taxpayers, and support staff. I have been in the board audience at school volunteering and the sidelines listening. The number one issue is trust. Too many residents feel decisions are made before they walk in the room. We are facing serious financial challenges that impact every student and every taxpayer. That breaks trust. We have a long road ahead of us. What's done is done, but I'm here to help every step of the way. I don't like roller coaster rides, but this one is a ride that I'm willing to take for our kids, our schools, and our community. I would love for you to join me in on it. If you're like me, I'll fight for what this community is asking for: accountability, transparency, and improved communication. That means plain language budgets released earlier. That means real two-way communication so no one feels left out. That means asking the hard questions before it's a crisis. Trust goes both ways. I'm someone people depend on and rely on. I've built that trust for 12 years and counting at games and PTA and on the sidelines. Allow me to bring that energy to the boardroom. I'll ask you to get and stay involved. Come to meetings and ask questions. Hold us to work. I've done that for 12 years. I'm asking you for your vote on May 19th. Thank you.
Ms. Brown, you're next.
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Showing up matters, and it's how strong communities stay strong. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Linda Brown. I'm a proud graduate of this district, a parent and a grandparent of students here, and someone who has dedicated years to serving this community, both as a volunteer and in my professional career. But what I want you to understand most tonight is this: my experience is directly aligned with what the district needs right now. I've spent over 15 years working in financial management, benefits administration, and compliance. I was elected for 2 terms to the Suffolk County Treasurer of the Association of Municipal Employees. I was 2 years as the benefit fund administrator for all of Suffolk County employees, except for those who carry guns. They had their own union. I've managed budgets, I've overseen financial reporting, and I've been responsible for making sure numbers are accurate, understood, and communicated clearly. I've also served in a financial oversight capacity during contract negotiations, ensuring decisions were responsible, sustainable, and fair. And during one of the most difficult financial periods in Suffolk County, I personally experienced the lag payroll initiative, a real-world example of what happens when budgets are not structurally balanced. So when I talk about financial stability, I'm not speaking in theory. I've lived it, I've managed it, and I understand the consequences when it's not done right. That's why I'm running. because right now our district is facing serious challenges: financial instability, declining enrollment, and a loss of trust. And what we need is not just good intentions. We need experience, we need oversight, and we need leadership that understands both the numbers and the impact behind them. If elected, my focus will be clear: transparency. You deserve to know where every dollar is going before decisions are made, not after. Accountability. Budgets must be built on realistic numbers, not temporary fixes or one-time solutions. Protecting our classrooms, because financial decisions never come at the expense of our students. But just as important, I will listen, because this community deserves a voice in the decisions that affect our children, our taxes, and our future. This is not about politics. This is about making sure we never find ourselves in this position again, and making sure we move forward. I'm not here to promise everything. I'm here to work and to do right, and making sure we move forward with a plan, with integrity, and with leadership you can trust. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kellerman, you're up next.
I would first like to thank the Suffolk County PTA and the community for hosting this event. My name is Michael Kellerman. I've been a resident of the district since 2004. I'm happily married and the father of 3 great children. My oldest son, who is currently in 8th grade, I have a daughter who is in 6th grade, and my youngest of my second sons is in 5th grade. They are the reason that I'm sitting here before you today. All 3 of my children are invested in the community and what the school district currently has to offer. They excel in the classroom, they are accomplished young musicians, and they are heavily involved in the South Country athletic programs. I'm currently finishing my 28th year as a science teacher in the William Floyd School District, where I've built a reputation as a fully committed advocate for the students, no matter what the need. I will bring a tremendous amount of knowledge as well as educational experience to the board. As a teaching professional, I was in this very situation approximately 2 decades ago. I have seen firsthand the complete devastation that massive cuts have made on children as well as programs. I have also witnessed what competent leadership can accomplish with their backs up against a seemingly insurmountable task. I have formed strong personal relationships with many of these individuals and have them to rely on as a resource as we rebuild South Country into what it should be, the greatest district in which everyone wants to send their children. I'm not running for the South Country Board of Education to fulfill my ego, nor am I running for any political gain. I'm simply running to ensure a successful and fostering learning environment for my 3 children, their great group of friends, as well as every other student in our district. Clipper Pride. It's cheered loudly by many in this district. Simply having these words come out of our mouths is meaningless. It is not enough. We need to own it. Clipper Pride should not be just a saying. It must become a lifestyle. My 3 children break every sports huddle, as do yours, with this: 1, 2, 3 Bellport, 4, 5, 6 family. What I know about family is that family will never abandon its own. No matter how high the odds are stacked up against them, it is time to own the very words that we have taught our children to say. I urge this Bellport family to come together for our children and be part of the solution to greatness. Thank you again for your time.
Hey, Mr. Mullier, you're up.
Hi everyone, how are you? Can you hear me? My name is John Mulia, and I'm a lifelong resident of this district. I'm an alumni, and I'm the father of 3 children, the husband of an educator, and I love this town. I'm running for many reasons. Right now I feel like our backs are against the wall, and I have to run. On a personal note, I live here, my brother lives here, and I hope to continue that all my friends live here as well. Professionally, after graduating from Bellport High School, I joined the United States Marine Corps, where I served, holding many leadership roles. After that, I went to college. I have a degree in organizational management, leadership and supervision. I went to St. Joe's University. For the last 16 years, I've been in federal law enforcement, where I'm a criminal investigator. In my free time, I run the youth lacrosse program here for Bellport, and I've been coaching youth football for more than 15 years. I'm dedicated to the community. I want to see the community thrive, and I'm here to ask questions and listen. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and thank you very much.
right, thank you, sir. All right, so we'll go to the first question. First question, we'll start with Kenyana. Do you agree with the school board's decision to pierce the tax cap with the adopted budget?
Can we get the question louder? We can't hear it.
Yeah, excuse me. All right, do you agree with the school board's decision to pierce the tax cap? Do you agree with the budget that's been presented? Yes or no? And why or why not?
I'll go with or.
Okay.
We don't want our taxes to go up, but we also don't want our kids to suffer either. So it's a really touchy topic. So that's my answer.
Okay. Ms. Brown?
I feel that we don't have enough information to make an accurate decision on whether or not the budget is yes or no. Is that what your question is as far as piercing the cap? So I would feel that we would have to go back to the table to look at those numbers before we could actually make an accurate decision, because we don't have accurate numbers to make that data correct.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So I think the operative word is support. I do not support someone else's failure. As far as the budget, I support my kids. That's why I'm here. Everybody's going to make their own informed decision based on their family needs and what they have. The reason I had kids is to give them every opportunity. I lived it firsthand in the district where I work. Budgets are going to affect my children. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to support them. Whether it's this budget presented or a more transparent budget, I'm going to support my kids. But again, each of you have your own thing to do. I'm going to support my kids. Unfortunately, whatever cost it is, I don't want to pay another penny, but I want my kids to have the option that they're supposed to have. I want them to have their teachers, I want them to have their programs, I want them to have their sports, I want them to have their music, and I want your kids to have the same thing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Puglia?
So I agree with everyone. I think we need full transparency, and that's been an issue lately. I'm not happy with paying more in taxes like everyone else, but I feel as if our backs are against the wall. I'm here for my children. It's the only reason I'm running. It's the only reason I'm here. It's for my kids. And I just feel the alternative could be absolute Armageddon. And if we don't pass the budget, we don't know the repercussions and what will be cut, because there hasn't been full transparency in the past. So I think we need to restore trust, but I feel that our backs are against the wall, and I do support the budget.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up question, we'll start with Ms. Brown. And the follow-up question is, if the budget fails, what do you feel is the proper next step? Do you bring it back, still piercing the cap, with maybe a lower tax rate? Do you bring it back at the tax cap? What do you think the second bite of the apple should be?
I think they should start with full transparency and review the budget again, spending line by line, and create a multi-year plan so we can move forward.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kellerman?
I'm not the parrot. I'm not. Check. So I'm not creating that budget. I can't see into a crystal ball. I am going to vote yes for this budget, again, for my children. If this budget goes down, we've already cut. We cut last year. We've cut this year. Again, I don't want to own anybody else's failure. I paid my taxes. I expected them to be utilized in the correct fashion. They were not. This is a multi-year spiral downward. I don't know what the next budget would be, but it's going to come with severe cuts. And I'm not doing any scare tactics again. I work in a district where I lived it. So I don't know what the next budget would be.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Volia?
I think there's a common theme here, and it's transparency, and I think it's going to continue throughout the night. If the budget is not passed, I'm afraid of what's next. I I think you need to go in with a scalpel and not a hatchet, and there needs to be equitable cuts. But personally, I hope that the budget does pass. I hope everyone understands the repercussions of the budget not passing. I live by a saying, and it's don't let your storm get your kids wet. And what that means to me is this is an adult problem that was caused by adults who failed us completely, but we can't let it affect our kids.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Augustine?
Okay, so if the budget doesn't pass, I feel that we should dive into the plan and figure out exactly what should happen before deciding to pass the budget. Being a PTA board member, I'm experienced with raising funds. So let's say the budget doesn't pass. There's might be other routes we can take to try to raise funds for sports, arts, music, whatever activities that may or may not be cut. So I feel there's other options that can also play a role in the budget not passing. But everyone vote what you feel comfortable with voting. My response is still for.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Question number 3 starts with Mr. Kellerman. What do you feel is the best way to right the ship here in South Country?
Long term, it's transparency, but you need clear, effective leadership. Check. That's it. If you have somebody that has done it before, time and time again, we need somebody that has had prior district office experience, prior knowledge with budgets. The only way to right the ship and the only way to gain trust, I think, of the community is to have clear leadership at the top level down. It's that simple. Where that person is, I don't know, but that's as simple as it is.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Molia?
I think you're going to hear a lot of us. I think a lot of us are on the same page. We need to restore trust in the community. Trust is not earned, it's given. And right now there is not trust in the school leadership. I think that is the first obstacle that we have to overcome here, and transparency.
Yes, I would like to agree with Kellerman and Muglia, but I would also state that we've had professionals on this board, and look where we are. Degrees don't build trust, listening does. So full transparency, accountability, that plays a huge role besides the degrees. And I've been listening for 12 years, so thank you.
Okay, we'll wrap this question up with Ms. Brown.
Trust. It all boils down to trust. As I agree with the other panel members that we have here today. We have to be able to ask the hard questions and make decisions based on facts, not politics or not pressure. And we can't ask the taxpayers or everyone in this room today to trust us. Trust has to be earned by actions. My actions to ask the questions and ask the hard questions is how we're going to move forward.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Question number 4, we'll start with Mr. Molia. Other than finance, step away from finance for a moment, what do you feel is the biggest problem facing the South Country community, our school district?
Well, it's hard to get everything's going to revolve around finances right now, because if we don't have the money for programs and we don't pass a budget, a sound budget, a fiscally responsible budget, we're going to lose programs. We already have low test scores as it is. How are we going to support these children if we can't pass a sound fiscally responsible budget? So I think, unfortunately, everything revolves around our budget right now. So there's no getting around that.
Okay. Ms. Augustine?
I'd like to piggyback on Mr. Muglia. I agree with him, but at the same time, if we have members in the community who can, if their taxes go up and they can't afford their mortgage anymore, the rates for the children are going to drop tremendously because they will not be able to provide for their family to be able to send their kids to school, so they're going to have to move out. So it's very tricky. Very tricky.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes. Besides finance, well, that's a big one. Besides finance, I feel that the biggest thing is the taxes. Members are worried about the taxes. Parents are worried about the cuts that have already occurred. And because the cuts have been done without having that clarity, there's a lot of misinformation out there, or people who are lost their jobs. And I think that once all of this dust gets resolved, that we'll be able to get down to the bottom of what really is the issue, and how we can go together and fix it as a community.
Okay, thank you, and we'll wrap up with Mr. Kellerman.
So again, the elephant in the room is finance. There's no way to get around it, but I have to echo what Ms. Malulia said. When children go to school, the basics, as an educator, just don't do it, period. The core subjects, go through school day, you go home, that's not going to create the product that we want, that I want. I'm embarrassed as a teacher to say that, yes, this district has extremely low test scores. If you think they're low now, when you cut when you cut down to the bare meat of what's going on, you're going to see devastation. I was here a few board meetings ago when I saw the children of the community speak. I was more impressed with them than anybody else in the room. That did not come from math class. That did not come from partly math class, partly science, partly the parents, but it came from the extras that those kids did. The extras are what creates this great product, and we're not going to have it. That's on the table.
Okay, thank you. Question number 5, we'll start with Ms. Augustin. If further cuts need to be made, do you have any non-negotiables, anything that you just will not see cut?
Yes, the classrooms. We have to remember we're here for the kids. So definitely not the teachers. Definitely not the AP courses, the AP courses, the music, the arts program, the sports. Definitely not those. That's a no for me.
Okay, Ms. Brown?
Protect the classrooms, plan responsibly.
All righty, Mr. Kellerman?
The front line, it's the teachers, it's the classrooms, it's the programs for the teachers, for the students. We, as a district, cut approximately 50 last year, approximately 50 this year. There's nothing left to cut. You have to maintain the core. The kids come to school for the teachers and the programs. That's a non-negotiable. There are areas that we can look at that do not directly involve contact with the students. We could probably look at those areas a little more intently.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mulia?
Well, I hope that we don't have any further cuts. I don't know what else there is to cut besides core extracurricular activities, and that's what I believe saves children, especially in a district like ours. A diverse, we're special. This is a special place. It's the reason I live here. It's the reason I'm the person I am today, is we are a diverse, special place. And those extracurricular activities, sports, it's what made me me and what makes everyone here in Bellport. So I don't want to see the cuts to any extracurricular activities. I hope to not see any more cuts, but what I do know is that the cuts need to be equitable if there are any further cuts. I think everyone agrees this sentiment.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, well, question number 6, we'll start with Ms. Brown. What safeguards do you feel need to be put in place to keep this from recurring in the South Country? What safeguards to keep the financials where they should be?
Financial oversight. Financial oversight, clear communication, and proactive planning. They need to plan not just for the short-term fix, they need to go for the long-term, because that's what's been happening. So many times they put in the short-term, they've made these cuts, they did not ratify or see where these cuts were really coming from. I know I hear no more cuts, no more cuts. But when you look at our enrollment numbers and how things are going down, they have to be realistic. Our numbers show differently. So we have to go back to the chopping block, look at that budget, see where you can find some more efficiencies rather than our classrooms. Because as they stated, our teachers have been brought down to the minimum, the bare bones. They're working harder for less. And everyone is suffering for it, our kids as well. I see kids on the bus. I see them coming past. I see the buses come through. They got 2 and 3 kids on it. There used to be a whole bus stop full with kids. Look at those numbers.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kellerman?
Oversight. It has to be oversight. It's got to be oversight. The other piece to oversight is accountability. The board has to be cohesive. I think what I personally see is when I come to these meetings, I see a board divided in front of the public. I don't think that's the place for the board to be divided. Obviously, a board member is going to disagree. Board members will. They have to unite. They were elected by the community for the children, and the task is simple. It's for the children. So one thing I think is lacking is, as a board member, you not only hire, but you hold people accountable. So you got to hold them accountable.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Mulia?
Yeah, last one up, I'm going to echo again. I think we're all in agreement here. We need policy and procedures that allow for financial oversight, and we need and also proactive adjustment. So I think one of the major issues with our budget was that we had gross underestimate of some financial line items that really put us in a terrible position, and there just wasn't enough oversight. And I go again on hiring the right people when these next board members are going to be charged most likely with hiring new leadership, and that needs to be a quality of the new leadership.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Augustine?
I feel we would need plain language budgets released earlier. Monthly budget to actuals, cuts far from classrooms first, accountability, and hiring the proper staff.
Okay, a theme that's come up earlier is transparency. How would you create that transparency? How would you get that out to the public? So we'll start with Mr. Kellerman.
Unity. The board must present. I have this weak little voice. So the board must present unified. That's it. Since I just got distracted, can you give me the question one more time, or is it legal? My mic's,
Oh, no. Well, the theme was transparency. Or you all seem to agree on transparency.
So
how do you create the transparency in the district?
That's a great buzzword now. Anywhere you go, it's honesty. And I feel a lot of people do not feel the district, no matter where it's coming from, is administrative, is being honest. From the multiple presentations to, I call them cute. That's the way I call them. I don't know if you can overhaul a presentation and then give a different one the next day. And that's your best presentation the day before. So you have to come with honesty, to echo you, timely fashion. You have to gain trust, like you said before, you have to earn it. I don't trust you because I don't know you. You want my trust, I have to earn it. And I think the district, from the board perspective and the administrative perspective, they have to start to earn the trust back from the people because it's broken.
Fair enough. Mr. Mulia?
So I'll replace the word transparency with trust. Again, we're kind of echoing the same thing here, but transparency, trust is another word that we need to build back to the community. Right now, the board is asking the community a lot, right, in our budget. And if we don't have trust, which is, in question right now, then, I don't know how we can move forward, to be honest with you.
All right, Ms. Augustine, you're up next.
Yes, so I agree with you both. Trust and transparency. But I also feel that the community also has to play their role in it. They have to, be willing to show up and ask questions. They have to remember the board members were volunteering. So in the end, we're all stakeholders in this. So it takes both the board members and the community. Transparency, accountability, and ask questions.
Okay, thank you. And we'll wrap this question up with Ms. Brown.
As I said, as we all said up here on this podium tonight, transparency is a real big issue. And I feel that if the community is aware of what's going on before it actually goes on, it's clear, and it would be clear to them to help with the decisions that were being made. Restoring trust through transparency and communication and letting them know firsthand what's happening is the way that we should be going forward. Communication clearly and effectiveness, not through the rumor mill, not on Facebook, but give me straight answers. Look me in my face and tell me exactly what we're faced with, what we have to do to move forward. And that's being transparent. Honesty, making the right decisions and making the difficult decisions. And making decisions even though at times when it may be difficult. That's being truthful to the community.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, question number 8, we'll start with Mr. Mulia. How would you handle disagreements with other board members or the superintendent while still moving the district forward?
So, first of all, disagreement should never be made in the public setting. I think that's the first step. I think as a board, you need to be unified in public. You should not be having public outbursts and public disagreements with the superintendent. I think those disagreements are behind closed doors prior to us coming in front of the public. And if we're not always going to agree, we don't always agree, but we need to be unified.
All right, Ms. Augustine.
I would punch them in the throat. Kidding. Kidding. I don't condone violence. No, we don't believe in bullying. We would have a private conversation, and if we can agree to disagree, but keep it behind closed doors, because in the public, we're supposed to be a unified front. So whatever disagreement we may have, we can have it behind closed doors.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brown.
I can state with someone with board experience. I worked with 8 board members for over 10 years. When you're having a discussion and you're in the board, normally our board paperwork, our treasurer's report, our financial report, our bills, anything that we have to review comes to us timely. We get our reviews 2 weeks before so that if we have any questions, that we can address these questions before we give it to our committee to look at. So when our board looks at this information, we're thoroughly knowledge. We have the knowledge to know what's going on. We don't get in the front and then we get the information. And that's what I think that's happening with our current board. And that's why they're so angry and upset, because they don't get their paperwork in time. They get before the community and then they all have questions. And we sit there as a community and say, why didn't you get this straight before you got in front of us? So I think that the timeliness of when they get their information should be addressed, and that way they wouldn't have I would not have a problem that we would have to solve in front of people. That would be can we talk about this on the outside? That should not be aired. But I believe that because of the heated situation that this was occurred, they didn't have the information to make the right decisions, and they were frustrated as well as the community was frustrated.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'll wrap this question up with Mr. Kellerman.
The word is professionalism. That's it. There is no need to argue. I think people, maybe for missing parts of their ego somewhere, inflated egos, they bring it out in the open, political gain. Everything should, especially now, everybody's going to have a disagreement. Like everybody said, it's behind doors. You present as a unified front. If the board, who's elected by the people, does not present unified, how does the community trust the board? They don't. You have to maintain professionalism. If elected, if any of us are elected, I hope that they maintain professionalism, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're asking you to represent us, or we're asking you so that we can represent you in a professional manner.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Yes, it does.
All right, we'll start question number 9, Ms. Augustine. What do you see as the primary role of a Board of Education member?
We follow policies and procedures. We also hire the superintendent, and we hold everyone accountable.
Okay, Ms. Brown?
You said Ms. Brown, and you put the mic to your mouth. Okay. Question. What was the question?
What do you see as the primary role of a Board of Education member?
I think the primary role is to protect our students, protect our taxpayers, protect our community. I think those are the primary roles we need to play, and we need to make sure that we abide by all of the policies, the rules and regulations of the school, and that decisions are being made that foster greater education for our students.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kellerman?
So to restate, they overlap. All these questions are overlapping. Oversight and policy, obviously, we're going to hire. You're going to evaluate the superintendent. The main part of that is you're going to hold them accountable. Budgets, appraisal, oversight, financials. We're representing community. Has to be in a unified front. The decisions that we make have to be long-term, based on data, not short-term fixes. Like this microphone. Like I said before, maintain professionalism. Listen to the entire community. Everybody hears the loud voice in the room, but where's the quiet voice? That also has to be heard, because the greatest wisdom is collective wisdom. No matter how smart you are, you're not going to beat a team. And we, like I said before, the Bellport community needs to come together as a family, from the quietest person to the loudest person and everybody in between, so that whoever's up here starting next year can work for you or me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mulligan?
Yep. So again, I'm going to echo what everyone else said, but try and say it in my own way. I mean, the most important thing this board is going to be charged with is maybe, or most likely, hiring new leadership. And when we do hire that new leadership, we need to keep them accountable. I think that's the first step of this board and the most important thing. Other than that, we set policy and procedure and standards that new leadership needs to follow, as well as oversight. There's only 4 of us up here. There's 2 spots open, and we are in the worst situation this district has ever been in. So it says a lot for the rest of these people up here, what we're walking into.
Okay, thank you. Should the situation become dire enough in South Country, how would you feel about closing a building? Actually, one of the questions came up, what were your thoughts on closing Frank B. Long? And that's a question that comes up every year because of the environmental issues there, but with the financial situation. Would you be open to closing middle school and elementary school, whatever, if the financial situation was dire enough in this district? And we'll start with Linda Brown.
Of course, I would get that question.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll take it.
I think with any closing of the school districts, I really, to take a stance on that particular school being closed, and I know it has environmental issues over there, and I know firsthand that it has environmental issues over there. But before we do anything, we need to make studies and have studies perform, that would be a good decision. I don't think that any of our schools should really be closed. I think that the enrollment is down. I think that we should look to see how we can utilize the buildings in a more economical or feasible way. But I think that once you have this opening, that it should not be closed.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kellerman?
So I think it's a viable option to close a deficit without cutting instruction. If the numbers are accurate and they're true, and again, not this year, next year, the year after, if the trend is continuing where we are declining enrollment, it's an obvious choice that we could maximize what the district has as far as leasing out a building, whether it's Frank P. Long or another. My kids go through the district, they were Brookhaven out, love the building. Frank P. Long, love the building as well. It does come with a bunch of environmental issues. It is separate from the district, so it could be an obvious choice, but again, that would have to be something that was looked at by a committee where we fully researched, not just, hey, let's close the building, make some money. It has to be something that's long-term sustainable, and we have to look at the trends. Of the trends really accurate with the decreasing student population? And could they actually be integrated in the other schools with the busing and all that stuff?
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Molia?
So I'm open to the possibility, but I would not be able to make that decision without seeing the numbers and exploring the data and seeing if the trend, I know enrollment is on a downtrend nationwide and especially in our district and across Long Island, but I would like to explore if we had to restructuring, as long as it doesn't affect the children, and I mean ultimately that's the end game. We can't have this affect our children if we decided to do that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Augustine?
So I agree with everyone, but I mostly agree with John Moglia. We should see the data first before we even consider closing a school. I have kids in that school, so it would be devastating to see that school close. But again, let the data speak for itself.
Okay. If elected to the school board, what changes, if any, would you like to see made to the district administration? Start with you, Mr. Kellerman.
I think they could tell you, because I've said it several times, we need experienced, clear leadership. That's all the time we need.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Molia?
I think you're going to get the same answer and over. I think we need experienced leadership that is vetted. I think that's the most important step of the next leadership that we hire here, is that they are vetted. Every job that I've had, I've been in federal government service for the last 23 years. For every position or every promotion that I've had, someone calls my previous employer or my previous group or wherever I came from and confirm that I was a good person and I was qualified. I think those are the first steps we need to take.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Augustine?
Okay, it's going to be, again, I agree with you guys. But yes, we do need someone who's experienced, who actually knows what they're doing, because look where we are now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Going along with the rest of the crew, it starts with great leadership that understands both the responsibility and the reality of the moment. Someone who is trained and has a track record to state that they are qualified for this job, and it's restoring the trust. We have to restore the trust through the transparency, communication, and a clear financial plan. So I think that once we look at the clear leadership, and the leadership is there and effective, that we can move forward.
Okay, thank you. The subject of establishing trust has come up many times this evening. Unfortunately, but start with you, Mr. Molia. How would you go about, if you're on the school board, how would you go about establishing that trust? How would you go about rebuilding that trust within the community? Not an easy question.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer it this way. I think the easiest way to rebuild trust, if we're in a position to hire new leadership, it is a competent leader that everyone can get behind. I think that's the fastest way. That 2 members here are going to be, on the board, and we will be charged with hiring potentially new leadership. And if we do so, they need to be competent, strong leaders, and I think that's the first way that we can rebuild trust in the community.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Augustine?
Yes, that's a tricky one. I agree with John, but at the same time, we can hire someone, but if they're not really holding themselves accountable, being transparent, letting the community know what's going on ahead of time and not when the crisis hits, I feel like that's what would help build trust in the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Along with the rest of the panel, I believe that the communication clearly, asking the hard questions, making sure that the community knows information firsthand is the first step in restoring the trust. Be honest. Stop giving us what you think that you want us to hear and give us what we need to hear. That's how it starts with the trust. Trust has to be earned, and trust is in actions, not in just words or promises.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Tillman, wrap up with you.
It's pretty much, it's all the same. The community, everything that happened up until this point is before us. It's before the four of us sat here. The reason we're sitting here is because we ourselves most likely don't trust the district. How do you give money? How do you send your kids to a place where you simply, I don't trust? It starts, as Muglia said, the way I can gain trust is I can tell you this, I will find somebody who we can trust. I will find the best person out there. I will find the person who is experienced, who has done this before. Not somebody that we can take a chance on, because some people will tell you that's what we did. Chances don't work. We need a real thing where our backs are against the wall. And I can tell you, for me to get trust, whoever's up here, whoever's on the panel, the way I'm going to trust you as a board is if you give me somebody that I can trust my children with.
Okay, thank you, sir. Alrighty, question number 13. I'm just going to put it out there. Is there any question that you were anticipating that you didn't hear tonight, that you wanted to speak on, that you just haven't had the opportunity to speak on yet? And we'll actually start this. Let me go back. This will start Ms. Augustine. Was there anything that didn't come up tonight that you wanted to talk about?
Not really.
Okay, just wanted to give everybody an opportunity. Ms. Brown, is there anything that didn't come up tonight that you wanted to speak about or bring up?
I shouldn't, but that would not be like me. I thought the state takeover, the question about whether or not we would be interested or what were our thoughts about the state, and if the budgets didn't pass, what would happen if the state were to come in and take over? I thought that was going to be one of the questions.
Okay, Mr. Kellerman.
So, yeah, a little bit. Where I work, neighboring district, it's literally right across the Little River. They're flourishing right now. So I'd like to quote my superintendent. He's quoted many times saying, if you show me a highly successful school district, I will show you a highly successful board. The question I wanted to see is, how are they doing it? They went out over the past couple of years with a negative 20-something%. It's 3.5 times the size of this district. Now, granted, we're doing apples to oranges, but they've got a competent leadership team. They're going out this year with a 0.99. We're cutting everything we can. We're going out with a 13-point-something%. The world of education can be done. You just need the right people.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Mulligan.
Well, I thought we'd cover more of what we'd be looking in new leadership, and I think we touched that on the questions and the answers that we had. And again, I'm going to echo what everyone here said, is we're looking for competent leadership that has real-world experience, especially a strong financial background, especially. And I think hopefully we're charged with that, and we're able to recruit somebody with that experience.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have time for another question. If you could change anything in this district, if you're elected to the board, what would your recommendation be? What would you want to see in this district that you don't see right now? And we'll start that with Ms. Brown.
To get the hardest ones first, huh? What would I want to see in this district right now? Right now, I'd love to see some happy faces with a good budget that we can all sleep at night. That's what I would like to see. That's what would be great. Right now, I'd just like to see us work together to try to resolve these issues and remember why we're here. We're not only here as taxpayers, we're here as parents, teachers. We're here to support this district. And that's what I would look for, us coming together as a community, standing strong and doing the right thing.
All right, Mr. Killerman.
Oh, I didn't grow up here, but every time I talk to somebody who's like a lifer, Bellport, I always hear about the greatness, how great it was to grow up in Bellport, how great this was. My memories on the sports field, my memories here and there. I don't hear that from the new generation. I think morality is at an all-time low, so I would love to get back to the point where my children can grow up like you, where they have built a family here. Sorry, Rob. Like Rob Felicetta. He's here, he's brought his family here, and he's continuing to keep his family here. That means there's greatness right here. I would like to keep it here. I want to stay here.
Mr. Malia?
I'm going to echo that. To me, this is a special place where we are. A lot of people grow up here, their parents live here, you come back, you grow up here, you raise your children here. My third grade teacher, Miss Schatzman's here, my kindergarten teacher, Miss Leone's here. I haven't seen them in 35 years, Miss Moot's here, right? I grew up with both your sons. This is a place, it's a special place where people wanted to raise their kids and go through the district, and you want this to be a place that your grandkids will want to attend. And unfortunately right now, a lot of my close friends or people that I speak with, they're having real conversations in home right now with their spouses. Are we doing a disservice to our children by keeping them in the district in the state that it's in? And it's not the teachers. It has nothing to do with the teachers. The adults caused this problem, and now adults need to fix it. So that's what I would like to do.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Ms. Augustine, we'll wrap up with you.
Thank you. So I'm not from here, I'm from Brentwood, but we moved out here almost 13 years ago, and we loved it here when we first moved out here. I would like to bring it back to that. My oldest will be graduating high school this year, and he had a great experience throughout the school system here. I have 4 more coming up, so I would love for them to also experience the greatness my oldest son did, and his friends and everyone their age experienced.
Okay, thank you. I think we pretty much touched on most of the questions that the public wanted to ask here tonight. So we're going to go to closing statements at this point. And closing statements go in reverse alphabetical order. So we'll start with Mr. Molia.
Well, thank you all for coming here. I know it's late, and it's not as late as some of the board meetings. But first I want to say thank you to the other candidates, because honestly, this is a huge undertaking, and I think we all understand how hard and difficult this is going to be, and we're going to have to work together moving forward. There are 2 seats open. We are in the worst financial crisis this district has ever been, and there's 4 of us up here. Okay? There's 4 of us up here. So I don't have social media. You're not going to hear me talking about anything on there, but there's a lot of people who are talking, and there's 4 people up here for the entire community. What I can promise you is I'm going to work my hardest. I'm the hardest worker in the room, not just this room, any room I step in. I'm doing this for my children, okay? My children, and hopefully my grandkids. So thank you.
Helen, you're up next.
So this is something I probably should not say. I don't want to do this. This is not something that I want to do. This is something that I feel I have to do. I am pretty much someone who stays by myself. It's me, it's my family. You would never know me if the district were in good times. Maybe you'd hear my kids' names on a sports field, concert or something like that. But I don't invest in something that I don't believe in, and I believe more in my children than anything on the planet. So I'm going to give them the opportunity. Like all the candidates here, you got 4 candidates, not just 4 of us sitting here, there should be 14, 15, 16. There should be 3,000 people in this room. It's embarrassing, not for you, but I don't do social media myself. I think it's a poison, sorry. There should be standing room only for tonight. There should be standing room only for the past 10 meetings that I've been to. The community's involved, again, go back to this family, this greatness that I hear about. I want my children to experience the family of Bellport. So that's why I sit here. You're gonna have to do your homework. You gotta find out, just these questions don't really signify what we're about. There's a lot more than just, we need a new suit. There's a lot going on. You have to find the best candidate for yourself, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Brown, you're up.
First, I want to thank everybody who came out tonight, that they asked their questions, that they were engaged. I really appreciate it. I love the fact that everyone keeps talking about these grandparents, so I am that person. I am that person who graduated from Bellport High School. I am that person who had children graduate, and I am that person who had grandchildren that are coming up through that district. I'm not going anywhere. Bellport is my home. I am rich in pride. I started with Bellport. I'm still active in the community. I did Bellport youth cheerleading, football, basketball now, so I am still out there active, and I will be out there fighting for you. This district is going through the worst crisis that I've seen since back in, I won't go back to show you how far, but he just started saying about Leone and Moon and all the other, Miss Jasmine, who's out in the audience, and that they were my son's teachers as well. So this is not a normal time, and we're dealing with a big financial challenges, difficult decision, and the community is asking for answers, and we need to come together. Who has the experience to help lead this district through this moment? Financial people. I have the financial backing. I have my degree in business administration. I do work with budgets. I see the gaps in this budget now, and I'm willing to dedicate my time, although retired now, to give back to my community to make sure that our voices are heard and that we get a budget that our taxpayers and our community and our teachers and our students can live with.
Okay, and I'll wrap up with Ms. Augustine.
Thank you all for coming here tonight. Thank you to the PTA. You heard me say I am a mom of 5 sons across South Country Schools, PTA boards at Frank P. Long and Bellport Middle, business degree in real estate. You heard a lot tonight, but I want to bring us back to the number 1 issue, trust. Too many of you feel decisions are made before you walk into that boardroom. Too many seniors and parents working 2 jobs feel the district talks at them and not with them. I am here because for 12 years I have been the bridge at games, at meets, at fundraisers. The list can go on. I listen to students, parents, teachers, taxpayers, and support staff. My business degree and experience have taught me budgets, forecasting, and accountability. My real estate work means I understand facilities, property values, and cost. My continuous volunteer work in our schools helps me understand the real needs of our students, teachers, staff, and community, not just what's on a spreadsheet. If you're like me, I'll deliver the accountability, transparency, and improved communication this community deserves. That means plain language budgets released earlier. I'm someone people depend on and rely on. I have built that trust for 12 years and counting. Allow me to bring that same energy to the boardroom, and I'll ask you to stay involved by coming to the meetings, ask questions. I will hold myself accountable, and I ask for you to do the same. People tell me I'm crazy for running for running for the Board of Education with the challenges we face. They're right. I am crazy. I'm crazy about our students, our teachers, our staff, our community. And I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try to help find solutions. With the right people at the table, I truly believe we can get through this. That's why I'm asking for your vote on May 19th so I can be your voice in that boardroom. Thank you.
In closing, I just wanted to thank all of the candidates, keeping everything nice and civil. Some of these candidates can get a little crazy sometimes. And I want to just commend you all, no matter which two of you win, for stepping up for your community. Under a normal situation, that's admirable. In this situation, with the financial problems that your district is facing, the obstacles that you have to overcome, it's really commendable that you step up. And I want to thank, on behalf of the community and the children, I want to just thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody.